Hi, my name's Elliot and I'm the founder of HikeWare. Hiking and camping has always just been a passion of mine anyway. Me and a friend went away to Innsbruck in Austria. While we were there, we visited something called the top of Innsbruck, and that's basically where you go up the big ski lift, you go to the top of the mountain, and there's a shop and a few other bits and pieces in the restaurant. And while we were up there, I came across like a little shop. It was just like a hiking and ski shop. So while we were in there, I was looking about and thought how amazing it must be to actually have a shop and have it in that sort of location at the top of a mountain. This was in 2022. So we got back from the trip on the 3rd of February 2022, and by the 5th of February, I've been on Company's House and launched HikeWare. So that's where it all actually began. I was a mortgage underwriter, but I actually left that position in May last year. So I've done that for about 3 or 4 years up until starting HikeWare. And then basically as time's gone on, I actually reduced my hours within that role until it was just like more and more part-time, until I was able to sort of take HikeWare on a bit more full-time. When I was juggling the two, it is about sort of going to work, doing my normal day job, and then working on my lunch break as soon as I get home, having dinner, working till late, working weekends, and just trying to fit it in where I could, because obviously I couldn't drop the full-time income without me yet having something to replace it. I think a lot of companies do like a certain percentage that they give to charity. We give actually a certain percentage, which is at least 1% of our monthly sales go to charity rather than our monthly profits. So we've donated to British Heart Foundation, Cancer Research, Mind Over Mountains, and now at the moment our current charity partner is Mind. We also donate a lot of gear. I think to date we've probably donated over £1,000 worth of equipment to various sort of charity events and stuff like that. We offset almost 100% of our carbon emissions. We're part of like a system where the money goes towards actually recovering plastics from the ocean. I think it's important that as someone who's contributing more and more to the downside to having a business, it's important that you sort of offset that where you can and actually try and have a positive impact rather than a negative impact. I have a lot more flexibility with that time. So I'm able to work when I want and essentially from where I want. So I can really be there for my kids and spend a lot more time with them. I would say that, along with being able to actually give back to the community through charity and other events like that, they're probably the two best bits I would say about running my own business. I joined Mettle last year. I was looking into accounting and I stumbled across FreeAgent, obviously the accounting software. So I looked into it, I was going to sign up to it, and I noticed that Mettle done the offer where if you're with Mettle, you get your free subscription to FreeAgent. I researched a little bit more into Mettle, had a look at them, compared them to my current bank at the time, and they had everything and more. And Mettle seems to be very much like you can sort of set your finances to go in the background, come back and review it every now and then. The app's nice and easy to use, really clear layout, and you can just sort of jump in, view your data and get back out. And the fact that it all syncs perfectly to FreeAgent just saves like a ton of time on all your accounting. It did slightly, because there's a lot of pop-up like banks at the moment that seem to be online only or app only kind of banks. And a lot of them are very good, no doubt, but it's nice to know that although Mettle is like a online style bank, it's actually backed by a bank that's been in the industry for a number of years and they have a lot more experience. Being with Mettle, knowing they're backed by NatWest, just gave me a little bit of extra security, knowing that they're backed by someone a lot bigger. So with finances, I think it's important to be able to do as much automation as you can. So the pots really help with sort of how I'm going to budget. The main way that I use the pots is I set aside a certain amount which can go towards an accountant or my taxes each time a sale comes in. And then every time a sale comes in, I have a certain percentage of that sale that goes into another pot, which is purely just sat there to replenish stock as and when that comes up. And that way I know that any funds left in the account, I can actually put all back into either giving away back to the community or I can grow the business. Mettle seems to cover almost everything that I would use from those competitors, plus a little bit more. And again, the fact that they just sync with FreeAgent and it comes to that subscription is massive. So there's nothing that I could say I would need that Mettle hasn't already got. I'd say everyone needs to get out a lot more. We spend more and more time on screens, especially me now. I've started my own business. Get out there and see what nature has to offer, basically. If I can compare that to like, if you're hiking a mountain, there's always like a false peak. So it seems to be that in business, if we're talking about that, it would be the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. It's a bit like as you go up a mountain, you approach the peak and actually it's not the peak, it's a false peak and you've got further to go yet. So it's a bit like that with business as well, I think.